Alrighty, everybody. How's it going? We're back. I don't know if anyone's going to actually be on the right link now because we're on a different video. But hi, everybody. Justin and Vinny are here. Baseball and whatever. Episode 97. We had some technical difficulties because someone that does all the behind-the-scenes production stuff left his YouTube channel open, so was hearing an echo from the YouTube feed that was live. You'd think after 97 episodes that's something this unnamed person would remember, but it's not the case. So we are baseball and whatever. Our takes are so bad. Yours look good. Is that what our new catchphrase was going to be, Vinny? I don't remember.
I don't know. It's something like that.
It's something like that. This is going just as good
You
as the
had
last
it.
one. 97
You had it over the
episodes
weekend.
I did. I lost it. All right. Anyway, we're back. Hey, everybody. Thanks for bearing with us. We took last week off. It's tax season. Vinny is working his hands to the bone. I don't know. What do you do during tax season, Vinny? Are you busy?
Nothing. I don't do anything.
Okay. Well, don't let your boss...
I nap like George Costanza does.
Do you have a private bathroom, too?
I don't. No, remember we discussed this on the podcast already. I don't. I have to share the bathroom with everybody else, and everybody takes dumps in it, and then I go in it, and then someone comes in shortly after I do.
Okay. I do have one question for you. On your Zencaster, do you have sound waves? When you're
Probably not. I don't know.
Because it's not showing up on mine.
No, it's not.
You're good? It's not?
No, it's not good. No.
Oh, son of a bitch. Why is this happening?
This is going great.
All right, well, we'll let the audio version keep going. Oh, it says you're offline now. I will cut all this out of the audio version. Do you want me to send you the link again?
Yeah.
This is the worst episode ever.
Great.
All right, we're gonna keep going live here. All right, I'm gonna just create a whole new thing in Zencaster. All right, well, I'm doing that. Vinny, well, I don't want to officially start the show because everything's gonna get messed up.
Yeah, we
Vinny,
gotta do a bunch of editing.
What's new, Vinny? How's it going, man?
Well, that's a whole segment we have, Justin.
Oh, shit, that is a whole segment we have.
This is gonna be a quick show.
It is. Half the show won't be recorded. All right, I just sent you the Twitter post. Let's try this again. Could not send emails. Let's try this again. Copy that. And in the StreamYard chat, there is this. On the plus side, there's nobody watching right now, so it's okay.
Yep.
Ah, good Lord. That's a doozy. That's a doozy. All right, let's see if it works this time for you. Hopefully.
Fingers crossed.
I don't know what's going on today. It's like we weren't meant to do a podcast.
That was supposed to be last week.
That's right.
I don't know if it's any better. And it still doesn't look like it's showing up.
Oh my god. Do you have okay, try now. Try talking now.
Okay. Testing.
Nope.
Testing.
What the hell? Oh, I just muted you on accident. Now I can't unmute you on Zencaster. I don't know what happened there.
Testing.
Nope. You got nothing, man.
Well, I'm sorry, Justin. This is not going well.
I don't know. It was literally just working, wasn't it?
It was just working.
Well, that is weird. That is some
hold on one second.
Some weird and wild and wacky stuff.
What about now? Oh, no, it's still not.
No. That's a
still not showing.
reference.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, all right. Are we finally ready to start the show?
Yeah, I think so. 15, 17, 20 minutes in, whatever it is.
All right, here we go. We're going to start recording on Zencaster because, the audio people, we love our YouTube people, but our audio numbers are maybe a little bit better. I don't know. All right, here we go.
I don't know.
Start the show. All right. Hey, everybody. It's not like this isn't the first time I'm doing this right now, but it is baseball and whatever. I hope everyone is doing well. Episode 97. Our new tagline is, our takes are so bad, they make yours look good. Does that sound good, Vinny?
Yours can't possibly be worse.
Oh, okay. Our tagline is, we don't have a tagline. All right. Anyway, hope everyone's doing good. Thank you for bearing with us. If you are not listening on YouTube that heard this already in the last 4 minutes, thank you very much. Vinny was was busy working and had a lot going on, so we took a week off, which was kind of nice, and we are back. We're refreshed. We're rejuvenated. It's episode 97. This week is a banger. It's a doozy. First off, we're going to talk Mandalorian season finale, season 3. We're going to talk, we have some sound clips from our very first 2 episodes where Vinny, Greg, and I started off, and you are going to laugh your butts off if you want to check those out. If they play, because at this point I have no idea. And I'm looking, Vinny, it sounds like my microphone is being picked up by your microphone, so we'll see how that comes out. Anyway, and then lastly, in honor of the Super Mario movie that came out a couple weeks ago, and supposedly is on track to make $1 billion, which is insane to me.
That's nuts.
We are going to rank our top 5 Mario video games of all time. We had a ton of people write in on this one, so we will share all those out. Perfect. It looks good now, Vinny. So before we get started, though, if you'd like to write into the show, if you'd like to say, hey, you guys suck, the first 4 minutes of the YouTube version was a train wreck, feel free to... Actually, no, don't do that. Don't write in. I don't want it.
Please do tell us. I mean, but I don't know.
If you're listening to the audio version on your phone, it's going to sound like the amazing audio that it normally is. At least I hope. All right. So if you want to write in though and tell us how bad we are, feel free. You can reach us in a variety of ways. YouTube.com/baseball whatever. Tweet us at baseball and what. Instagram at baseball and whatever. TikTok at baseball and whatever. Email the show baseball and whatever at gmail.com. Find us on your podcast app of choice because we're on all of them. And lastly, feel free to shoot us a text and say you suck, or leave us a voicemail at 1-913-808-3278. That number again is 1-913-808-FART. Vinny, I've noticed that when I say that, there's a brief pause. Why is that?
Because I have to hit the button.
Okay, just making sure. That is a inside joke. Amongst the family from this past weekend. I'd like to be a part of one someday. All right. Anyway, there we go. We're batting 1,000. And I just realized no one's in here because I forgot to tweet out the link again. All right. Vinny, tell us. We start off the show, famous 97s, because we're doing episode 97. Who in Chicago sports wore 97? I know there's no Hawks. I know there's no Cubs. I believe there's a White Sox, but I don't know who. And I'm sure there's
no White
Bears.
Sox.
No White Sox.
No Bulls. Only the Bears.
Who are the Bears that wore number 97?
You can't guess anybody? Come on.
Can you give me a position?
Come on.
Give me a position.
Defense.
Thanks.
Defensive line.
Oh. Ted Washington.
Nope. He was last week.
Oh, I thought it was Keith Traylor. Keith Traylor wasn't last week.
Oh, maybe it was Keith Traylor. Yeah.
I always confuse those two guys because they played at the same time. Lineman? Oh. No, Julius Peppers was 90. What year was this? Was this recent?
I mean, from 87 to 2023, yes, there have been players that have worn 97.
Hold on. Let me think. 97. There was a lineman.
Lots of linemen.
I got nothing. I have no idea.
Chris Zorich is probably the most notable one.
Oh, I remember the picture of his head steaming. I remember that being in Sports Illustrated for kids. His head was always like smoking or steaming during the games when it was really cold. Yes.
I think I had a football card of him where he was dressed like Zorro.
Oh, really?
It was like it's a pretty silly one. Mark Anderson wore 97.
Yes, I do recall Mark Anderson. Okay. Wasn't he
Willie
very
Young?
Good, was he? Willie Young.
He was. Mark Anderson, I think, has the most sacks, the Bears record for most sacks for a rookie.
Oh,
in his rookie season, he had 12 sacks. He was defensive rookie of the year, or runner-up for defensive rookie of the year. But yeah, he had 12 sacks. I think that's a Bears record, rookie record.
Okay.
Yeah, he was all right. I mean, he kind of fell off. He never was able to do that again with the Bears. And then he had, in 2011, played for, I think it was New England, 2011? What is that?
Okay.
NWE. New England Patriots. I don't know why it's
I've
NW.
never seen it, NWE.
Yeah,
I just remember
but
being
it's
NE.
Yeah, he had 10 sacks. I don't know why there's a I guess new NEW, but that's kind of weird. But he had 10 sacks with them in 2011.
Okay.
Yeah, who else? Nick Williams wore it. Landon Collins, Michael Haynes, the great Michael Haynes, who was one of the many busts during the I was going to say Jim Hendry era, but that's not it. Who's the GM?
Phil Emery? No,
what was this? Jerry Angelo.
Yeah, with Dick Duran, right?
Yep. Okay. Nick Williams. Let's see. They have two Nick Williams. I don't know why. I don't think it's the same. No, two different guys by the name of Nick Williams wore 97, and it was one wore it in 2019 and one wore it from in 2018. So,
okay. Oh, geez.
Yeah, really confusing. Yeah, not the same person, but the same exact spelling of their name. Mario Edwards wore it, and Taco Charlton recently wore it, and then last year a guy by the name of Donovan Jeter, who is, let's see here, he's a second cousin to Derek Jeter, actually.
Okay.
Believe it or not.
I did not know
I don't know.
Well,
I'm just kidding, Justin.
That's your bit. That's your thing. That's what you do.
That is my thing. But that is it for 97s.
All right. It's very nice. Okay. Well, I guess that wraps up 97s, like you said. Okay. Sorry. I'm trying to do too many things at once here. Okay. I guess we might as well go to our emails, tweets, and YouTube comments. Vinny, take it away. Do we have any? All right, let's get this thing started with the What's New With You segment.
How you doing?
Where Justin and Vinny give you their random thoughts and reviews on any TV, movies, or video games they saw this week, as well as their thoughts on just about anything.
What are you up to?
And of course, their great takes.
I love it!
Their bad takes.
That's terrible.
No, sir. I didn't like it.
And their hot takes.
Is it me, or does it smell like up dog in here? What's up, dog? Nothing much. What's up with you?
Alrighty. And hey, on a positive, Vinny, it's picking up this week. Zencaster's picking up your audio and the soundboard, so that's a plus. All right.
Nice.
Okay, so what's new with you? Vinny, the first thing you have on the docket here is the Arnold road maintenance worker, and I want to say you were trying to explain this to me when we got together for our late Easter this past weekend, so tell me about it.
Yeah, so this would have been a two-parter story. This would have been, if we would have had the show last week, it would have been one part, and then I would have had a follow-up to the story. But Arnold Schwarzenegger last week was in the news for fixing a pothole. And if you listen to this podcast, 2 weeks ago, we did our top 5. So it was perfect that we did our top 5 Arnold Schwarzenegger movies. And then right after the power of the podcast, Arnold's back in the news for doing humanitarian work and fixing a pothole in L.A. I don't know if you've heard or seen, but they've had a tremendous amount of rain out in LA and California. Yes. And the pothole situation is I can't think of the word, but it's becoming
it's dire.
Dire or an endemic, or is it epidemic, or I don't know.
Endemic?
Endemic?
I don't know. Yes, I think you're right.
But it's a big problem out there. I'll just use the little vocabulary I have. It's a big problem out there, and LA, the county can't fix all the potholes at once because there's too many of them, and I don't think they have a big enough workforce to do that. So sure. Arnold was out fixing a pothole. And the news, there's a news crew out there, obviously filming him because he was once the governor. He's a movie star, and he's out there doing humanitarian work for his neighborhood. Come to find out that what he was fixing was a utility trench. I guess they were doing utility work. And that was after they did the news story. Then the LA County came out and said that he shouldn't have been fixing it because it was a utility trench, and that they were doing work on the road, and he should have left it alone. But then Arnold then rebutted back saying that, yes, it was a utility trench. It was fixed in January. You guys still haven't done anything. I fixed that, and I fixed another pothole for you guys. You're welcome, pretty much. So
that's awesome.
Arnold Schwarzenegger's out there doing the work for the people. Just a man of the people.
Man of the people.
And yeah, it's nice to see that big celebrity is not above getting his hands dirty and doing some hard labor.
I know we mentioned when we did our Arnold episode, I talked about I wanted to read his book. I think it came out in 2012. It was called Total Recall. He's got another book where he talks about it's coming out. I think I want to say May, June or July, and it's all about him, just kind of like what characteristics, what kind of things he's learned in life that's kind of helped him be successful. So it sounds very interesting. I also think it's cool that he also narrates it if you get the audible audio version of it. So I'd be kind of curious just to listen to him talk, because I don't know, I love doing that voice, even though my impression is very, very bad. But yeah, he seems like a cool dude. I follow him on Twitter. It's kind of funny when he posts videos. He's got a donkey and one of those pony horses that doesn't really grow, and they just kind of walk around his house. I don't know who cleans up after him, but
like a little Sebastian.
Yeah, it's like a little Sebastian, and he's got a donkey. Yeah, and they just kind of hang out and they walk around. He also has a newsletter and a daily email talking about different fitness regimens you can do it from home to try and get back in shape.
Okay,
which I know I'm trying. It's not working, but yeah. So yeah, good job. Way to go, Arnold. Thank you for doing your civic duty, I guess. All right, next thing. Vinny, there's a show, I'm assuming this is a show on Paramount Plus. It's called Rabbit Hole. Is this the one with Kiefer Sutherland?
It is, yes.
All right, tell me about it. Sell me on it.
Yeah, just started watching it this week. It's a really good show. I'm not the biggest Kiefer Sutherland fan. He's all right in my book. 24, I know my sister's big into 24.
She loves it.
And I like the first couple seasons, and it got super hokey, and it's okay, this is, and it's kind of like that. He's not a a secret agent or anything like that, like he is in 24, but he's a super smart guy. He there's a international cabal that he's trying to that's coming after him for whatever reason, and make it look like he's a killer. Yeah, it's really good. It's really thrilling. There's a lot of sleight of hand going on in the show. You think it's one thing, and then something else happens. There's some good comedy in it. He's actually really good for the role. I do actually like his character. Yeah, so I recommend, if you have the opportunity, you have Paramount Plus, to give that a watch, because it's pretty good so far. I'm 3 episodes in, I think, 3 or 4. Kind of hard to keep track, but it's good so far.
I will have to. We don't have Paramount Plus, but I'll have to. Maybe we'll sign up for the free trial to give that a look. I know, like you said, your sister loves all things Kiefer Sutherland. We watched, I never watched 24, and then when we started dating, that was when they brought 24 back for maybe 1 or 2 seasons. I don't know if you recall that. I don't know if the full cast came back, and I enjoyed those last couple seasons. Those were the only 2 seasons I watched, and then I still remember us sitting at her apartment, and she's like, all right, we're gonna start from the beginning, and we started 24 from the beginning, and I don't know if it was just it looked so old, even though it wasn't really that old.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? Kiefer's running around in blue jeans at one point. I'm like, this looks like it's straight out of the 90s. Granted, I know it wasn't a 90s show, but
yeah.
It was kind of hard to go from that to what we were just experiencing when it was all high def and all that stuff. So I'm like, I'm good, and I kind of fell off it. She also tried to get me to watch, what's the 2 with the 2 brothers in jail? Prison Break?
Prison Break, yeah.
She always wants me to watch that show, and I'm like, I'm good. I don't need to watch that. But
is that show still on, or is...
No. I think she's
okay. I was gonna say
she's got the box set somewhere over there, I think. So
I watched the first season was really good, and then they got out of prison, and I'm like, okay, the show's over with.
If they don't change the name of the show, that's false advertisement,
right?
At that point.
Exactly.
All right, should we get to the Mandalorian recap here?
Oh, I think we should.
All right.
You want me to play the spoiler?
Oh, you
siren?
got to. You
Since
got
we're
to.
okay.
Yes.
Oh, that's not it.
All right. There's the spoiler. That's the I think that's like the Imperial Death Star siren alarm.
The siren, yeah.
Siren. All right.
The alarm.
Vinny, I'm gonna let you take it away. Tell me, what are you thinking? Where does this rank for you amidst the other shows? Are you happy with where it's going? Are you good, sad, angry, mad? What do you got?
I thought it was good. It was really good. They should have killed somebody off that was more meaningful than Moff Gideon, than killing off the bad guy. Mm-hmm. It would have been nice if, it wouldn't have been nice, but it would have been, I think, more impactful had Din Djarin died or Bo-Katan died. Like if Bo-Katan had to sacrifice herself to save Din and Grogu, that would have been, I think, kind of like more epic. The fact that she didn't, they all survived. Obviously, you figured Grogu was gonna, save them with the Force, which I thought was really cool.
That was cool. I liked it.
I thought he was gonna pretty much take out those three Shadow Guard. What are those guys?
I don't. They gave him some name in the Praetorian Guards, I think they called them. I don't know.
Okay. I thought he was going to force throw them around the room when he got separated.
I was hoping he would.
But it was still really good. Solid episode. Again, the show's just a solid show all around. But there was just a few things in it, like Moff Gideon telling him, "Oh, I'll track him down." And then they get to where he just was, and it's like, did he not follow the map correctly? How did he miss them? And then you would think that he would have been a little bit more pissed off that they just destroyed all his clones.
Yeah,
that's gotta be a little you would think he would be more enraged. He was just you destroyed my clones, they were gonna be perfect. I'm shouldn't you be really pissed off that they just destroyed them?
All that work. Yeah.
There's no screaming, no rage out of him. But I mean, I guess he's kind of the cool, calm villain. He doesn't really show a lot of anger and rage. That's just
Gus,
not I guess.
What's the guy from Breaking Bad?
Gus Fring.
He's the Gus Fring of Star Wars.
Yep.
Really. I mean.
Yeah. I mean, he technically. I mean, it's the same type of character.
Actor,
I feel like he's like that in his role in The Boys too. He plays a villain in that show too, and he's kind of got the same calm demeanor in that show as well. So I mean, I guess maybe that's just who he is, but it just felt like, man, I would have been more pissed off if someone destroyed the clones that I'd been working on. And again, did they kind of reference midichlorians because they were able to somehow? How did he make those clones Force sensitive if there's no such thing as midichlorians?
Yeah, he had to suck the.
How does that work?
Grogu or something? I don't understand. Okay, so yeah. I'm glad you brought that up. So yes, I thought the first 3/4 of the episode with all the battles and fight scenes and drama, I thought was really cool. I was amped up. And then it just kind of wrapped up perfectly. There was nothing hanging over anyone's head. It was just yep. Mm-mm. I was waiting for them to say, all right, that ends the Mandalorian's journey. We're done. And then I had to look up.
It kind of had that feeling.
Yeah. I'm wait, did I miss a press release where they said they're not bringing this back? What is going on? And I've never had that experience with a show where I'm wait, is this over? Is this done? So, okay, first thing, when you bring up Moff Gideon and the clones, I'm of two minds on this one. The first one, I think it's kind of cool that they brought that arc back from the very first season and the first couple episodes, because they've captured Grogu to try and manipulate the Force out of him to make these clones, whatever. But then at the same time,
they took did Justin just say what they did? They took I cannot do that. They extracted the midichlorians out of him and put them in the clones.
There's no such thing.
You know that happened.
There's mitochondria, but not midichlorians. All right, so I think that's cool. But the other thing is, I feel like that was such a build-up in Season 1. Season 2, I feel like, didn't really talk about the clones at all because they were focused on the Dark Troopers, right, which were all robotic. And then Season 3, they mentioned, the Doctor talks about wanting to start cloning and how it's a good thing and all that, and then they fry his brain, and then all of a sudden they're like, oh, by the way, here's all these clones we talked about in the beginning of Season 1. I guess I'm going to destroy them. And then within like 30 seconds, they were destroyed, and that whole arc was over. I was like, oh. Okay. I don't know. It was kind of rushed a little bit. Does that sound right? I don't know.
Yeah, and the show was the finale was what, 39 minutes?
Yeah,
like
it was short.
It could have been longer. Like that was my big complaint about Andor's. It was too long. They should have shortened it, and that's my opposite complaint, I guess, with Mandalorian is they could have made it longer to, I guess, draw out on some of that stuff and kind of play on it a little bit more than they did. But I agree, like, it just seemed like everything wrapped up and they put a bow on almost all the storylines. Like, they talked about, Grogu and, Din Grogu and Din Djarin will now be going on their adventures and then going together. But they have it just seemed like the perfect ending for this has kind of been a Western, this story. And this is like the perfect ending. He's got his farm sitting out on the front porch with his kid playing with the frogs. Like that's how it ended. Okay. And I'm fine. They can if that's what they want to do and they want to end it, to me, that's fine. I think it's best to leave on a high note. I don't think there's any way they can really top the season 2 finale. That was just absolutely perfect. But it was a great way to finish the show. If they want to end it and they don't want to bring it back, I'm perfectly fine with that. I still want more, but I think that's the best time to not bring something back, leaving people wanting more, and then maybe they can bring it back down the road when they can really, don't rush putting a story out just to put one out. Take your time, let it settle. Like we can be fine with there not being a story because they ended it so well. I know we talked about it in text message, but I would love to see a story, and I can't remember her name. Is it Elia Khan or Kane?
Is it? Yes, it's something Kane. Is it Elsa? Not Elsa. That's Disney. It's something Kane, something with an E. But yes, you're spot on.
Yes, but the lieutenant or whatever, who's now the spy inside the New Republic, I would love to see a storyline and like an anti-hero story about her undermining like the New Republic and kind of like working from the inside to bring them down. Like, I think that would be such a cool story and a cool show, because it'd be like the complete opposite of everything that Star Wars has ever put out. Something from the opposite side, the dark side, and how, I guess, Revenge of the Sith was kind of like that, but I mean, we all know that Darth Vader's story arc, he's the hero at the end. He throws the Emperor over the ledge. So, it would be completely different from everything that they've really ever put out. So I think that would be a really cool story if they want to do something like that. And I feel like they kind of already teased where they could put Din Djarin in any show that during that time period, because they already did it with Book of Fett. Like,
right.
They can easily put him in a story and have an episode or something like that with him in it, and it would be awesome. So
yeah, I think
I'm fine with it. I don't know your thoughts, if you want more, or
I'll gladly take more. I feel like they're at this point where like the future is wide open, and even like with just him like, hey, I'll do bounty work for the New Republic. Like, that was kind of interesting, because in the first episode of season 1, he was like, oh, the New Republic, they're not going to be able to do this. They can't keep this up. So like he's kind of he's kind of changed a little bit on that. But yeah, if they said tomorrow, in 6 months, Mando season 4 starts, I'd be ready to go, ready to watch it for sure.
Yep.
It just wasn't the season itself. I think I enjoyed I enjoyed the episodes, but I don't think it definitely wasn't the strongest season. That's where I would probably leave it. Definitely had some good stuff.
Yeah.
There's just so many things that were just like they started off, and I mean, like, remember the pirates? Like, they blew up that pirate ship, and then you saw a couple of the pirates get away, and I'm like, oh, they're gonna come back and do something. That never happened. They kind of, we talked about it last week. Like, for sure, I thought the armorer was plotting something, or I thought there was gonna be some division that caused a problem. That never happened.
Yeah.
The fact, okay, maybe this is just me being nitpicky, but like, I don't think I've ever seen anything or nerd alert, read anything in Star Wars lore that like you can just take your jetpack and go through the atmosphere and fly into space. Like, I don't know. Like, well, they don't have suits
but
on. I don't know.
Yeah, they do, because if you remember the first step or the first time Din Djarin goes down to Mandalore, he's got his helmet on. He tells Grogu to stay in the.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Okay, so they do make that status work. Okay.
Yeah, but I will say to that point in that, I guess that argument, it was that. How much fuel did these guys have? Because when they were chasing that dragon around, they all ran out of fuel. Fast. And they're all flying around this time. And I'm like, okay, they should be running out of fuel sometime soon. But no, they didn't. I mean, the battle was awesome. I absolutely love that battle with all of them flying around and everything like that. But yeah, when he was flying out of the atmosphere, I'm like, yeah, how does he have enough fuel to get there? Because I'm pretty sure he's just been flying around just recently.
And my problem is, like, I have a hard time. There's certain things where I'm like, oh yeah, I will totally suspend disbelief because I enjoy this and I get it. It's Star Wars. There's the Force and there's all these things that aren't real. But then, like, stuff like that, I'm like you said, I'm like, oh, they've kind of shown that they don't really have a lot of fuel, and now he's doing this. I'm like, okay, my suspension of disbelief is kind of waning a little bit. But yeah, it was good. Not as good as I think it could have been. In terms of, I wish they would have had, like, I was even so excited when it ended. I'm like, oh, there's going to be this great, like, post-credits teaser. And I kept every 10 seconds going through the credits to see what the teaser was. And there was nothing. And I'm like, wow, I thought for sure there would be a teaser, either not for Mando, but for Boba Fett or for Ahsoka or, well, Andor, I don't even think they've started filming season 2 yet, or they're very beginning. But like, there was nothing, and I was kind of surprised. And that's the other thing.
Well, there won't be any teaser for Andor because it's a completely different time period.
Well, yes, you're right. But how do they not have Boba Fett show up in this? Not even once, because him and Mando had this bond in Boba Fett. Like you know what I mean? Not even a cameo. I mean, I know he's not like a true Mandalorian.
Yeah, and he's the boss of, in I was going to say Naboo, in Tatooine. So, and they didn't really have anything on Tatooine, which is
that's true.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't really have to have him in it, and that's fine. I didn't think that they would have him in there, but it's just they should have killed somebody. I still don't know why they didn't. I mean, I find the cruiser into the base. Was it Axel or
Axe Wolves? Yeah.
His name? Yeah. Have had no fear in it because he used it to get on everybody and save everybody. It would have been believable for him to sacrifice himself instead of getting outright blast and doing his job. So yeah, it bothered me. I just thought they should kill somebody meaningful. He's not like that meaningful character. They had to kill him off. And people thought it heroic, but like, okay, he's whatever. He's not that big a character. No offense to the actor or anything. He was great. Just his character, isn't the most meaningful. I just felt like they should have killed somebody off.
You just want death and destruction.
Well, it just makes it, I don't know, more real if it's, everybody's living like with, that's my biggest beef with Stranger Things. They got to kill somebody off at some point. I know the kids are running around, but at some point you got to kill one of them off. It just makes it better. It makes it more meaningful, makes it more impactful when somebody notable dies in a TV show.
The stakes are higher.
That's my hot take.
Hot take. I like it. All right. Overall, if you like Star Wars, definitely still check it out. It still holds up. It's still great, a fun season, a good season, despite whatever little gripes and things we have here. All right. Do we have anything else, or are we ready to jump aboard? Oh, shoot. The most important thing. This was the 2-year anniversary of the show, Vinny, was last week. Can you believe we've made it 2 years?
I can't believe no one's kicked us off or canceled us yet.
Yeah, I feel like we're doing something. I'm shocked that no one said, yeah, you guys got to stop this. All right. So I went through the archives and pulled a few recordings. Would you like to hear them, Vinny?
Oh, might as well.
All right. So this is from 2 years ago. This was from, I believe, April 12th, I think, was the first episode. Or maybe it was April 11th. I don't know. April, whatever. 2021 was a different time. And this is the introduction that I gave to the very start of our show. Are you ready?
Oh, boy.
This is disastrous. All right, here we go. Sound quality's awful. I sound like a moron, more so than I normally sound like. All right, here we go. This is the Baseball and Whatever podcast. And pretty much the way this came about is, I can't speak for Greg, but I'm a Cubs fan. He's a Sox fan, and I absolutely hate my team right now. They're playing like garbage. And I know Greg's got some thoughts on the White Sox and some Cubs thoughts, which is great. And then the whatever part is just whatever we're kind of feeling that week. I think this week we're going to talk about PS5. We're both really big gamers, and we're going to talk about the Snyder Cut. All right, so there you go. That was April 12th something, 2021.
Has Greg finished the Snyder Cut yet?
I think he has. It was.
I think he did too.
It, right? Yeah.
Oh no.
No, but if you think
I have
about
no desire to either.
2021. This was before I had a kid. Your second child was not born yet.
Yep.
Greg's third child was not born yet. Like, it's insane to think how long we've been doing this. All right. Let's get to Greg. If you don't recall, because this was 97 episodes ago, our first episode, Greg got really excited and announced that there was a perfect game thrown by the White Sox, and we found out very quickly that was not true. So here's Greg doing a little bit of a mea culpa. Here we go.
Yes, that is correct. If you listen to the last episode, Carlos Rodon threw the no-hitter while we were recording. And then I looked up the box score, and of course the hit by pitch on Roberto Perez did not show up. So I'm like, hey, perfect game, woohoo. And then as soon as we're hit recording, like, oh, wait, no hitter.
All right. So, of course, Greg had to apologize for that. I was like, why are you apologizing? No one's listening. It's okay. Right. And then lastly, Vinny, if you recall, your debut was episode 2 of April. It was almost 2 years ago to the date. I think it was April 19th, 2021. You came on to talk about the Bears quarterbacks, and you developed quarterback trivia. So, Vinny, here is your introduction. Are you ready?
Boy.
Here we go.
Oh, gentlemen, how's it going?
Good. We're like the three musketeers. We have the three brother-in-laws on a podcast, right? Like, how cool is that? Vinny, you are going to give us some outlook on the Bears draft and some QB rankings trivia. So let's hear what you got, man.
Yeah, I don't have much outlook as a Bears fan on the draft.
It is a burning dumpster fire.
Yeah, Ryan Pace doesn't know what he's doing, clearly.
So,
I mean, the outlook is bleak, to say the least. I have no idea what they're going to do. Everything I've been reading and seeing, unfortunately, I've been consuming way too much of mock drafts. It helps me get rid of the meal that I've eaten.
All right, there you go. So the one thing I'm noticing, Vinny, is we all sound much younger and much less tired in these early
that
episodes.
sounds about right. And we all sound like we're doing that from a warehouse.
Yes, we do. We don't have microphones yet. I think I was using my PS4 microphone. All right, so there you go. There's the 3 clips I pulled. Thank you if we have listeners that have listened from the beginning. Thank you so much. 2 years. Holy cow. We'll see how much we got left in the tank to continue baseball and whatever. But now let's get to the show, our namesake. Let's get to some baseball talk, Vinny.
Baseball.
Welcome back to Major League Baseball. Sort of.
Taking a look at Chicago's 2 favorite teams and other happenings around the MLB.
Alrighty, so couple of quick hits because we've been gone for 2 weeks, but really cool if you are a Cubs fan. Whenever the Cubs win now, recently over the offseason, they installed all LED lights in their lights. So now if they win, not only do they fly the W flag, but they change the lights and turn them into Ws. So I thought that was really cool. They started that a couple of weeks ago during the beginning of the season. Every time they win at home, the lights go out kind of like a blackout, and then they come back on with the W. It's really cool as they play Go Cubs Go. We also, I think it was last week, it was announced Ian Happ 3-year extension worth $61 million keeps him with the team until, I think it starts next year, so until 2027, if I'm getting that right. I think that's right.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm really excited about that.
No, 26 through the 26 season.
Thank you.
Because it'd be 24, 25, 26.
Thank you. This is why you're the math guy. I am really happy that he signed. I think that's awesome. They gave him a little bit high annual AV to keep him around on a shorter term deal, but I think that shows their window with Seiya and Marcus Stroman and now Ian Happ and Nico Horner and Dansby Swanson. The next 3 years is their window. So let's see what they got here. As of right now, they are tied against the Dodgers. It's 2-2 in the top of the 8th inning. They took 2 of 3 from the Dodgers last weekend, which was awesome. The Dodgers are
huge.
Kind of powerhouse in the NL. And then they swept the lowly, emphasis on lowly Oakland A's, which I feel so bad for that fan base. It's not fair. And now it came out today that they're moving. I can read the statement in a little bit, but anything about the contract? Anything about the current, not streak, but the current winning ways that you're psyched about, or any faults you're finding so far with this young season, Vinny?
No, I think it's good. I know we talked about it before, and I already said that it was that I picked them to win the division. I thought this team was going to be better than last year. It's definitely going to have a higher floor, maybe a higher ceiling, but a higher floor for sure than last year's team. And they're proving that right now. Their pitching has been outstanding, to say the least. It helps to have a catcher behind the plate that's managing the staff well. It's the small sample size, or if you want to take into account last year's sample size and add that into this year's, it's a noticeable difference between when Wilson catches, or used to catch, and when Yan Gomes catches. I mean, it's night and day the way these guys are pitching. Justin Steele has been outstanding since the second half of last year into this year. Hayden Wisniewski finally started showing some life, what he was showing during spring training, although the beginning of his last start didn't start off the best, but he finished strong. He went 7 innings against the A's. I mean, granted, it was the A's, and the Cubs beat him so bad they sent him to Las Vegas. But, this season's starting off really well. I think there was a note out there that they won 10 games, and it took them till into May to win 10 games last year. So, again, that's an improvement. You did notice, or you said Stroman is here for the window. He has an opt-out after this year, so if he keeps pitching the way he's pitching now, which, I mean, if he opts out, that's a good thing because he finished the season strong. If he gets hurt or declines, I don't think he's going to opt out of it. But if he keeps pitching the way he's pitching now, he's definitely going to opt out of it, and I'm sure the Mets will probably give him a huge chunk of money to go pitch for him. This season's going to be fun. I mean, this is a fun team. There's a lot of likable guys on there. It's going to be even more fun when they bring up the younger guys. Hopefully, Christopher Morel makes his appearance up here. He's hitting the ball well down there. He's still striking out a ton. in AAA. That's something they've I think been wanting him to work on. He still needs to be working on that. He's striking out at a huge rate, and our guy Jake Banowski had said that his BABIP is like ridiculously high. I think it's over 400 in AAA. So that's going to come down, and that means his average and is going to come down as well. So. Yeah, he's getting incredibly lucky. Someone who's actually doing really well probably should be here is Matt Merton-Mervis.
Yes.
He's got a walk rate that's higher percentage walk rate than he does a strikeout rate, which is kind of
insane.
Hard to fathom.
Yeah.
There's nothing left for him to really prove in AAA. They need to bring him up. If that means, DFAing Hosmer, or if they want to keep Hosmer for, veteran presence, then maybe they can send Edwin Rios down. He hasn't really done anything. I think he's played a game in the field.
Yeah.
I don't think that they should send down Nick Madrigal. He's actually hitting at the plate really well right now, although he is making stupid plays while running on the bases. Yeah, going through the. Did you hear Rick Sutcliffe rip into him?
And rightfully so. Like you don't hear the home broadcast talk down about guys very often, but man, credit to. First of all, I gotta say, I watched all 3 of those games because they were late games, and I really enjoyed Rick Sutcliffe on the broadcast. I mean, I know he was a Cub. I don't know that much about Rick Sutcliffe, and I love Jim DeShays as well, but I thought it was great. But yeah, he really, when the play was happening, you could tell he's like, what are you doing? Kind of audibly. And then afterwards, he's like, Willie Harris is giving you the stop sign. What are you, It's like he's trying to do too much to show that he's worth it. I don't know. But, I mean, the score, they pulled clips from him doing stuff like this as a White Sox, too. So it's nothing new.
Yeah.
But it's frustrating. But, yeah, I even heard someone float the idea, let him DH because he's hitting so well, even though he's not a power hitter. And I'm like, okay. I mean, I don't know. It's just been really cool to see how this team manufactures runs. Like, I'm not used to seeing that. So that's
I think the rule changes help on that as
too.
well.
Yeah.
But I think they probably should bring up Mervis to play first base. That'll give you your power, and then that would allow you to put Nick Madrigal at the DH and not have to worry about that being a power bat.
Yeah.
You got Wisdom, who should probably be playing third base, who's hitting the ball extremely well. I checked it when he was on that tear against when they were on the West Coast trip, which he hits very well on the West Coast. His BABIP during that time was 260 in 269, I want to say. So yeah, he's hitting over 300 with a BABIP of 269. His WRC plus was 190. It was like 193, I think. So that's good. That means he's not getting lucky. That means that he could probably raise his average a little bit by bringing that BABIP up, because league average is usually 300. So, that was good to see. Hopefully he can continue that. I think he was in him, and I think Hank Sauer was one of the legendary Cubs, and there were like 2 or 3 other Cubs in the history of the franchise that have had, I think, like 8 home runs in the first 15 games. So he's been on an absolute tear. And if you think about like all the great Cubs hitters, Sammy Sosa, Ryan Sandberg, Mark Grace, guys like that, Billy Williams, Ernie Banks, and none of those guys were able to do that. That's amazing to think about that. So this team's fun, and it's good to see the Cubs actually winning meaningful games against good opponents, especially like the Dodgers. So yeah, I'm here for it.
Awesome. Yeah, it's been a really fun experience so far, and the rule changes have made the games a lot more manageable to watch because I feel like things are constantly moving, which has been great to see. All right, last Cubs thing, and then we'll move on to the White Sox because we got a ton of other stuff to do. Joe Madden was on the Parkinson Spiegel show. I believe Dan Bernstein was filling in for Danny Parkins, And he was quoted. I listened to this interview. It was very interesting. This is Madden saying, "We should have stayed together longer. There's no question with that. We had a lot more chicken left on the bone. We weren't given the opportunity. I'll say that because it's true." I like Joe Madden, but I 100% disagree with this. I think they were given every opportunity. I mean, they kept them together even after he was gone. It wasn't working. And I almost wonder, really the only thing I'll say about that is, like I said, I think he's wrong. And I know him and Tom Verducci, who's on MLB on Fox all the time, and he's a baseball writer. They have a podcast now, so I'm very curious. I kind of want to check that out. But I don't know what more he wanted, and I'm kind of getting the vibe that Joe Madden is the perfect young team manager because he does all these wacky antics and crazy dumb shit, pajama day, I'm going to bring a magician day. And like when they're younger and they're inexperienced, maybe that's kind of fun. And maybe that's why I worked with the Rays for so long, because every year they had a new team full of, I feel like, prospects and people that got called up, minus like Evan Longoria. But then you saw him go to Anaheim, or LA of Anaheim, and the Angels, and that did not work at all there because it was mostly veterans for the most part. So I just kind of feel like his shtick it's played out, and I disagree. I don't know what more he could have wanted from this organization in terms of saying that they didn't get a long enough chance. I don't know. Any thoughts on that before we move on?
I agree with what you said, and it was funny that you said that his shtick wears off on veteran players. That's exactly what Evan Longoria said after Joe Madden left the Rays. Like, yeah, he's great, but that kind of wears out old after a while.
Yeah,
and it makes perfect sense. Yeah, I think you nailed it on the head. He's a great young manager for a young team, but once they get to be veterans, you kind of like that stuff gets old. Okay, we don't need a magician in here. Let's just do our thing. That's kind of, exactly. So I think you nailed it right on the head.
All right. Well, I'll be very curious to see. I'm sure he'll be making headlines again with this podcast now. All right. Real quick, just a few hits here from the White Sox. TA is on the IL. He was having some lower body issues. Joe Kelly, I believe, is still on the IL from running in from the bullpen to fight someone, and he strained his groin, I believe. Strained his calf. I can't remember which one. But,
yep.
So he's out. That guy, man, I tell you, that guy's got the life, because realistically, how much has he pitched since he signed with the White Sox? Not that much. I mean,
not
last
that much,
year
and hasn't been good.
No, and last year he pitched most. I'm sorry, he didn't pitch. He didn't pitch most of the season because he was rehabbing, and as soon as they signed him, he immediately started to rehab, like within a couple weeks. So,
I think so. Yeah.
I don't know how that's gonna go. And then lastly, the White Sox aren't doing so hot lately, but I did find it interesting. Mike Clevenger walking out to "Gold Digger" by Kanye West. I know we discussed it this weekend. Probably not the best choice for multiple reasons. A, all the issues and investigations, and B, the kind of person Kanye West has turned into the last couple months. Probably not the best. But anyway, the only other thing
last couple years,
yes, I suppose that's the truer answer there. There was a bunch of White Sox fans on White Sox Twitter this week freaking out. I don't know if some lady that's a Cincinnati Reds fan came to Guaranteed Rate or the Cell or whatever you want to call it, and went down to the dugout and literally put like a hex or a curse on Mike Clevenger to not pitch well the rest of the season. Did you see this on Twitter?
I saw that. It was great, and I saw the absolute like mind-numbing freak out of White Sox fans. I couldn't tell if they were being serious or not.
Oh, I think
people were like, "Oh, MLB, you don't want this person putting some like foreign substance on the dugout." It's like, dude, it's on the roof of the dugout. It's not like she's down there like throwing it in his face.
Yeah,
like she's sprinkling what looks like sand on top of it, being silly.
If MLB didn't care,
I'm glad that it did work.
If MLB didn't care when they were putting foreign substances into their body, they're sure as hell not going to care if some lady sprinkles some foreign substance on the dugout. So
exactly, but I was so glad that it worked. I hope he continues to just stink it up because he's a dirtbag. But yeah, I couldn't believe people were so upset with her. Like, she's just having fun and being silly. Like, who cares? Like, do you believe in that? Like, I personally don't. And it was funny that it worked though. Like, he had a bad game after she did it. Let's see if he comes out and has another bad game.
White Sox
maybe she's onto something then. Maybe she'll have to be
board night next.
Right, or they're gonna have to, she's gonna be banned from like opposing, teams like venues and ballparks because they're afraid she's gonna hex them and stuff like that. But no, I thought it was all in good fun. It was silly. Mike Clevenger's a dirtbag, so there's no reason for you to be upset that she's doing that or playing, making that up and doing that. Like, you shouldn't be that upset.
I agree. 100% agree. All right. Some other quick things real quick around the MLB. Tool of the week, not that that's a segment, but I don't know if you saw this. Blue Jays reliever and former Cub, I do not remember him on the Cubs, Anthony Bass. Did you see this story break on Twitter?
I did, and I remembered that he was. I had to confirm it, but I looked at. I was like, "Oh, Anthony Bass." I'm almost positive he pitched for the Cubs, and sure enough, there was his jersey with the on the Baseball Reference page.
Yeah, so I saw this. If you're unfamiliar, Anthony Bass, last I saw, had like a 7 or 8 ERA, so he's not that great. But
not good.
He posted a picture of his disapproval of, I think it was United Airlines. His 2 kids had thrown a bunch of popcorn on the floor, and his wife was asked to clean it up because that makes sense. We just went to a restaurant last night, and Maddie threw some Cheerios on the ground. We picked them up before we left. We're not going to make someone else do it. And he had a conniption fit and said that they told his pregnant wife to get down and clean them up. Well, if he was on the plane, why didn't he get down and clean them up would be my first question. If he was on the plane.
I don't think he was there.
Okay.
I don't think he was.
That makes sense then. But, and his argument was, well, this isn't my job. Well, this isn't her job. Well, they're your kids, number one. Number two, the flight crews have what? Maybe 10 to 15 minutes if that plane is going to be used in service for the next flight. And I don't know, just it's kind of the right thing to do if you're a responsible parent. I don't know. It just seemed like a complete just asshole. And he was still today. He tweeted some like Fox News nut job lady that was
Tommy Lauren. Tommy Lauren, I don't know what her name is.
I can't remember what her name is, but she was saying about how he was in the right. I'm like, oh God, and he couldn't let it go. He had so many people cussing him out, and he was still looking for someone to agree with him. And of course, he found one nut job too. I'm not surprised, but man, what a tool! Pick up after your kids. It's not that hard. If you can't do that, then don't have children. Oakland,
exactly.
Yeah. Oakland is moving to Las Vegas, or that's the plan. I have the statement right here. The official statement says, oh boy, poor Oakland. It says here, hold on, let me scroll down. All right, statement from the Oakland A's. The A's have signed a binding agreement with the purchase of land for a future ballpark in Las Vegas. It is supposedly on the Strip. They go on to say for more than 20 years, they focused on securing a new home for the club in Oakland. They've been looking for resources for the past 6 years to build a ballpark in Oakland, even with support from fans, leaders of the city, state, county level, blah, blah, blah. They couldn't make it work. We recognize this is difficult. We will be shifting our focus to Vegas going forward. Supposedly, I believe they wanted taxpayer money to build the stadium, which
they always do.
They always do, and I don't agree with that. If you're a multimillionaire that can own a team. Zach writes in, good to see Zach. Sounds like that guy can't get over the sausage pizza mishap. No, it doesn't sound like he can. But yeah, so I don't know. Thought that was a bummer. I like the Oakland A's, even though they suck. I kind of always am hoping for them. And then lastly, Madison Bumgarner has been DFA'd by the Diamondbacks. They will still be on the hook for $34 million next year. I did not realize he was having that bad of a season.
Yeah, I don't know if something happened the night before. I saw some people's comments talking about how that he had done something and that they were surprised that the Diamondbacks acted on that. So I don't know what he did. It might have just been Bumgarner being Bumgarner, just being a goofball.
Seems like another tool.
He's weird.
I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
All right. Well, there you have it. The other thing is Max Scherzer is getting a 10-game suspension for sticky stuff. The sticky stuff problem is back. Did not see that.
Oh, no.
Oh,
poor guy.
No. All right, let's move on. Are we ready for whatever? This show is running long, and I'm getting tired.
Sure.
All right.
Now it's time for Whatever.
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 Whatever you want. Whatever I want.
Whatever, dude. Irrelevant.
Whatever, dude.
All righty, Vinny, take it away.
Welcome to Whatever, Baseball and Whatever. This week we are ranking our top 5 games with Mario in it. Is that right? It doesn't have to be Mario games. It's a game with Mario in it, so it could be Mario Kart, Mario Tennis, Mario Golf, Super Smash Brothers, or the Mario games, Mario Party. I can't think of any other games that have Donkey Kong, the original Donkey Kong, because that does have Mario in it.
True story.
Yeah, so any of those types of games, feel free to add that to your list. Yeah, this was, I guess, kind of difficult to do. There's a lot of good games with Mario in it. I tried to not pick the same type of game, so like I didn't have 1 through 5 or 1 through 4 all Mario Kart games. So I kind of tried to, at least pick one different type of game in there. I don't know how you picked yours.
Yep, same thing.
But I definitely had. I'll just say it right now that Mario Party did not make my top 5. It was an honorable mention.
Wow.
I didn't play that game until college, which is a really fun game, but compared to the other games that I picked, it just, I don't know. You can't play it on your own. Yeah. Where these other Mario games, like you have to have people to play Mario Party, because if you play against the computers, it's just going to be frustrating. You'll probably throw your remote through the TV because the computer will probably always win. I don't know how you picked yours. Picked your list. Was it something similar?
Yeah, I kind of went through. I tried not to pick more than one game from like a certain series. So like if it was Mario Party or Mario Kart or Super Mario or whatever, I tried to keep it to one, to like the best one. And it was honestly really tough. Like I could probably do a top 10 and feel pretty comfortable. But yeah, this was tough. There's a lot of good games, and it's something like as an adult, I don't get a chance to play it as much. But like Mario is still a lot of fun. There's something about Mario that's just fun. So yeah,
it is. It's an easy game to just pick up and play, and I think it's just one of those games that been around for a long time that everybody kind of, I mean, you think video games, like that's probably one of the first like 5 out of all the video games, that's probably like one of the first like 5 you probably think of when someone's like, hey, let's play Mario, or let's play a video game on a console. Like and especially if it's Nintendo, like you're like, okay, something Mario with Mario in it, like let's play that game. So yeah, it's just an iconic character. Have you seen the movie yet?
No, I haven't. I want to. I probably won't see it in theaters. I'll probably wait till. I don't know if it'll come to streaming, but if it's cheap enough,
I'm sure it will.
Blu-ray at some point too. So I've heard really good things. But
yeah, Greg saw it. He said that was really good. He said it was good. What was it? He said it wasn't like anything like, Academy Award winning. It was it was very good for especially probably people that grew up playing Mario games.
I heard there was a lot of good Easter eggs.
Homage to that.
Like if you were paying attention, there was a lot of cool Easter eggs to stuff from like the last 20, 30 years. So
nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I don't have any plans to see it, and I'll probably wait for it to come out in streaming or go to Redbox and rent it. So
that's my plan. My plan too.
Yep. All right, Justin, why don't you kick us off with your number 5?
All right, my number 5. This is, I think I've maybe brought this up on other podcasts, but not with Mario. I have to bring this up because this game was one of the few games in our computer lab growing up in school that we could play after we finished whatever our Mavis Beacon teaches typing or whatever bogus stuff we had to do in there. And that is Mario's Gaming Gallery. I don't know if you guys had that out by you guys. I
Did
wanna say
not.
we've discussed this. I will refrain from doing my horrible Italian Mario accent that I do for my sister because it makes her laugh all the time. Because I don't want to offend any viewers or listeners. But it was the first. I believe this is true. I believe I looked this up. This was the first version of Mario that was voiced, and it was voiced by Charles Martinet, who does Mario in all the video games. He also does Luigi and Wario and Waluigi and all that stuff. He is also in the Mario movie, but he's like a background voice or something, I heard too. Anyway,
okay.
I'm bearing the lead here. So what is Mario's Gaming Gallery? It was literally 5 games. You could play checkers against Mario, and the checkers were Yoshis and Koopas. You could play Yahtzee, except they called it Yacht. You could play Go Fish. You could play Backgammon, which I still to this day do not know how to play Backgammon, so I never played that one. Or you could play, there was one more, oh shoot, this is great audio. But anyway, it was a lot of fun, and it's still something like, I've gone on ROM sites and played it still. Like, Dominoes, which I don't really give a shit about Dominoes. So checkers, Go Fish, Dominoes, Backgammon, and Yahtzee. It is straight out of like early 90s. It looks pretty janky, but it was given the blessing by Nintendo to make it. So yeah, that is my number 5. If you grew up in the 90s and were in a computer lab in school, chances are you played Mario's Gaming Gallery, and just hearing Mario say things like "Go Fish" is really good. So there you go.
Nice. Anytime you said Baccarat, right?
Backgammon.
Or what was it?
Backgammon.
Yeah, I still don't know how to play that game either.
I know.
Yeah, I don't ever recall that one at all. I don't think our school had it. The computer game for Mario I do remember is Dr. Mario. Do you remember that one?
Oh, yeah, I remember Dr. Mario.
It was like Tetris, but you had like pills and you had to match up the pills. And I guess take out viruses. I was still a little young to understand it, but I think that's how it was played. I remember that for the computer. Yeah, so I don't really have too much to say about the games. They sound like fun, and I'm sure like
fun.
if I had them, yeah. I mean, it was
either Mario's Gaming Gallery or Oregon Trail. Those were like the 2 games you could play after a lesson. So
nice.
Kind of alternate back and forth. So
yep,
yeah,
sounds like a lot of fun.
It was
good pick.
Thank you.
My number 5 is Mario Strikers. I haven't. It's only number 5 because I've only played it once, and I think we played like 3 matches and lost every single one.
Yeah.
But this was a fun game. I thought it was really cool. It would be nice if I owned a Nintendo Switch and then had the game to play it more. It was really cool. Playing soccer growing up. I love playing video game soccer games. They're a lot of fun, and this is just like a fun arcadey type of soccer game that you play as Mario and you have the different characters. Everybody's got a different power up and stuff like that they can do. It was a lot of fun. We had a terrible team. I think it was you, me. I think it's a 4v4, and it's we had 4 controllers, and unfortunately Pretzel Vince was on our team, and he was god awful. I don't think he knew where he was half the time we were playing it, and it's not like you're playing on a full size field either. So no, that was a lot of fun. So it's number 5, comes in at number 5 because it was a quick paced game, a lot of fun to play with people, a game you can play on your own and have probably just as much fun doing that as well. So Mario Strikers is number 5 for me.
Good pick. That was fun. I agree. There's something about the Mario sports games that are really fun because they're more arcadey and enjoyable. They don't require like all this in the weeds knowledge or like control schemes and stuff like that. Like I know like some of the pitching in the new baseball games like is really cool, but I can't do it to save my life because it's all timing based and things like that. That's a Greg territory there. But yeah, that was a lot of fun, and I don't think we won a single game, did we?
No, we didn't. We lost every single one.
Okay.
Frustrating.
All right. Yeah, it was. I'm not going to lie. All right. My number 4, this is one I was singing the good graces of this game to Greg. I think he picked it up, but I think it's probably still in the plastic wrap. That is Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle, which came out on the Switch. It was a release game. I don't know if you've ever heard of this one, Vinny.
No, I have not.
So the Rabbids are something from another video game company. I really have no interest in them. They're like these weird goofy
rabbits
that they like rabid, so to speak. They're goofy, but anyway, their universe gets mashed together with the Mario universe. Doesn't matter. There's a whole story, but the whole game is all tactics based. So Mario gets like blasters, and Luigi's got like a goofy sniper rifle. Peach has an umbrella that's like a shotgun. Who else is in it? And then you get rabbit versions. Like you get a rabbit Mario, which is like a rabbit dressed up like Mario, and all this other stuff. But anyway, it's really cool. It's all tactics based. So like to get the game, the level starts, whatever you want to call it. There's the enemies on one side of the map, you're on the other, and you can take cover behind certain spots. You can only move so many. You can only move so many spaces in your turn, and then you make a decision. Are you going to attack? Are you going to defend? Are you going to, do a special ability? And then you wrap up your turn. The enemy starts their turn, and it's all tactics-based, turn-based. So it was really cool. I beat it. I loved it. They also made DLC where they brought Donkey Kong in, and that was like a separate world. And I never buy DLC, but that was actually fun. I bought that, beat that. They had a sequel that came out this year. I still haven't finished that, A, because I don't have time, and B, it wasn't as good as the original, but it was still enjoyable. But if you like tactics-based or turn-based stuff, this was a really cool idea, and it's Mario with, like, laser blasters on his arms. How cool is that? So Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle, I highly recommend it. It was definitely a really enjoyable game. I really thought it was a good game.
Nice. I've never heard of that. It sounds like a lot of fun. Two for two on not hearing anything about your games, but I guess it would help if I actually had a newer
Switch?
system.
Yeah.
It'd also help if I had time to actually play video games,
I hear that.
which I don't. No, good. It sounds like a lot of fun. I think that's a pretty darn good pick. My number 4 is a classic one. I don't know. I'm assuming a lot of people would probably say this is one of the best Super Mario Brothers games, but this is Super Mario Brothers 3. I remember this game. I feel like everybody had this game growing up. If you had a Super Nintendo, this is like a must-have game. The iconic Mario on the front of the cover with the raccoon ears and tail. Just a lot of fun. Super hard. The great cheat in the beginning of the game when you would get the raccoon ears and you could fly across the map and get to the special area where you could like skip all the levels and stuff like that. I think I watched like the person do that and beat it. Like, I think they beat the entire game in like 10-15 minutes or something like that, because they were able to skip the entire all the levels and go to the last one, and they were it was ridiculous how good they were at that. But yeah, that was just an iconic one. I remember playing that a ton whenever going over to somebody's house and they would have that. It was just a really fun game. I think that's one of the ones a lot of people think of when you think of Super Mario Brothers. And they had that fun little, I think it was that game, like a mini game where they would have where you could play as Mario and Luigi, and you would like knock over the spiked Koopas, and you had to kick them, and it would just like it was like it was like a 2-player multiplayer. Like I don't know if you were against each other or you were working as a team. I don't know if they're like as a point system. I can't recall exactly.
I never understood that either, and I believe they released that as its own game first on Nintendo, and then when Mario 3 came out, they put that in there. I never understood that, but there was a way to do that. Like if you clicked on the spot where your other character was, you would go into that mode or whatever. But I totally do remember that. And the music from Mario 3 is really good. There's some really good music in there. Like that's classic. That still is kind of, I can still think of some of the songs for some of the levels. That's a really good pick. Good pick.
Thank you. All right. Justin, number 3.
All right. This one, I have to preface this. This was not my game. This was actually my sister's game. Back around 2000, we were a PlayStation family. We only had we had a PlayStation, and around the year 2000, that's when I was really into wrestling. And there was some really good wrestling games on the Nintendo 64. So I convinced my sister she wanted a Nintendo 64 for Christmas, and
You're great.
I'm a horrible human being, horrible brother.
You're great for that.
she put it on her Christmas list, and sure enough, because it was far enough, it passed when it came out, around 2000 by then.
Yep.
My parents got it, so she had her own console. This will come up again in another example. And I got my wrestling games, but she also got Mario Party 2. And
nice.
Like you said, playing that game by yourself is a complete nightmare, and it's cruel and unusual punishment. But playing that with my sister was a lot of fun. We played it a little bit as kids, and we would play it with some of our neighbors and stuff like that. But what I really enjoyed, I'd say like not so much in the last couple of years, because now we all have kids, but before everyone had kids, when my sister would come out from Wisconsin to visit, we would literally make a bunch of drinks and we would just play Mario Party. And that was our night.
Yep.
Like it sounds so silly now in retrospect, but it was like so much fun. And like there's a Mario Party or a Mario Party All-Stars, which is a bunch of the old games combined for Switch, which I bought to play with some of her kids and her when I've gone over there, and it's fun. But like that original Nintendo 64 one was still like, now you look on a flat screen TV, it looks awful. The controls don't work very well, but like there's a little bit of nostalgia there. So that is my number 3, Mario Party 2. It's still sitting somewhere over here where all my games are. So there you go.
Nice. That is a great one. Yeah. I think too, the N64 controller was like, I feel like that was designed just for Mario Party. Like just like all the controls and everything, being able to like rotate your hand and hold the controller like perfectly, like it was right in the middle, centered balance. So like you could easily do that on some of the little mini games that they had. Like I just felt like that controller, when they thought of that to design it, because if you look at it, it's ridiculous to look at that controller, because like how am I supposed to hold this? What am I supposed to do? I remember the first time I tried playing a video game, like they have the D-pad up on the right side, but the joystick's in the middle. It just was really awkward. I think whoever made that like had Mario Party in mind when they made that controller.
Did you know that is when the first one came out, I don't remember what game it is where you got to rotate the stick a bunch of times. People were peeling the skin off their palms, so you could write in Nintendo, and they would send you like cut gloves to put on, fingerless gloves to put on, so you wouldn't get burns on your palms anymore.
Interesting. Yeah, I remember in college we would play that a lot, and yeah, we would all sit there, and by like the month into playing that, our hands were like all calloused over and everything like that because we had been playing it so much.
Crazy Cutter was still my favorite mini game. I don't know if you have a favorite mini
Which
game.
one's that?
That's the one where you're on the jackhammer and you got to like chisel out the shape of the character.
Oh, the face?
Yes.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Yep. Good pick. Good mini game. Good pick of the game.
All right.
My number 3 is Mario Tennis for N64.
Ooh,
we played this a ton growing up or I should say growing up. I played a ton in high school. Dr. Mantis actually had this game. It's just the one at N64 is very basic. I know I think they've come out one with GameCube, and they also had one for Switch one, and I think those are.
I don't know.
I don't remember there being a Wii one. I'm sure they did.
The Switch one I know is there.
Yeah, but the one for N64 is great. All the characters had their different skills and ability. You could play double, so you could have 4 people playing with you at a time. And just making sure you would like pick like a power person and maybe a skill person or fast person, because usually the power people were slow. It just made a huge difference, and timing the serve right. For as simple as it was, there was a lot of strategy and strategic gameplay that had to go into playing Mario Tennis, and it was a lot of fun. The different courts with the different speeds. So if you're playing on a slower court or a court that had a lot of good spin, having a special character that could do good spins was good to have. So yeah, it was a fun game. I played a lot of it in high school, and yeah, that was number 3 for me.
That's a good one. That is one. The Switch one I did not like, but the N64 one is really, really good, and the controls are really simple, and it works. It works, like you said. That's another one where the controller is really good for that game.
Yep.
I think that's a great pick. All right, my number 2. We're getting down to it. This is another Switch game. It's somebody who, like I said, didn't grow up with the 64 until, like I said, my sister got one in 2000, but I was fully entrenched in PlayStation for the most part, and never had a GameCube, never had a Wii or a Wii U. I didn't have a Nintendo until a Switch I recently saw, or last couple of years I bought. That is Mario Kart 8 Deluxe on the Switch. Is like not the biggest Mario Kart guy, because obviously I didn't play a ton. I played a lot of Mario Kart 64 at my neighbor's house, but that game is so much fun. It's just so good. It's got online. Like, I don't have a lot of times where, like, I try to get your sister to play Mario Kart with me all the time, because she likes Mario Kart, but she likes to play it on her phone still. She won't play it with a controller.
Okay.
So she won't play. So playing online's been great. It was really cool because you get to go through and unlock all the different cars and all the different parasails and all the different wheels. So like there's something to do, then you take it online. Then, Nintendo released all these extra tracks. Instead of making a new game, they released like 30 or 40 new tracks for like $15. So I bought those and racing with those. And I like when you guys came over for Maddie's christening, or like if my sister's kids come over, like it's so much fun seeing like the next generation learn how to play that game, because it's so nice. Like they have the little feature, you tap a button on the top of the controller, it automatically steers for them, and it automatically manages
really
the gas.
Cool.
So like I literally I turn that on for the kids, and like they still feel like they're playing, because technically they are, but they also aren't finishing dead last anymore. So like all these like not proof of life, but like quality of life things that they've changed since back in the day. Just a fun ass video game. I love Mario Kart. I will not play Double Dash though with you and Greg, because you guys kick my ass every time. You're inhumane. If I see Baby Park one more time on Double Dash.
It's the best one.
Oh, it is, and it's in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and I love it in that version. But
is it 8 laps in Deluxe as well? Okay.
Yes, it is.
Good.
Oh yeah. Oh, it's official. It's official, Vinny. But yeah, see, I got to get you guys to play that on Switch, because maybe I'd have a fighting chance. But yeah, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. If you like Mario Kart, that's the one to have for sure. So there you go.
Nice. Yeah, I like that. I saw Will playing it at Maddie's christening, and I just thought it was really cool that they have that feature where it's an auto drive feature. Yeah. He's after that weekend, we came home and we have a Wii, and he was asking to play Mario Kart on there, and so we got that, and he's okay at that, but I mean, obviously there's some times where he's just driven all over the place, and he can do well. Like, he's gotten first place. Obviously, I don't try as hard when I'm playing with him, because I don't want to crush his soul. And we do play with like
me.
Well, I mean, you're an adult, Justin, or you appear to be one. Yeah. But yeah, that was a really cool feature, I thought. And it would be like one reason why I'd get a Switch, is to be able to have that game, and to be able to, have him be able to, play and not get dead last, and still be able to drive straight as well. So yeah, that's a really good pick for your number 2. That was your number 2, right?
That was my number 2.
I'm losing track. All right. Having a hard time counting down from 5. It's getting late. No, my number 2 was Super Smash Brothers Brawl on the Wii.
Oh, okay.
This was a really good one. This is one where the one for N64 is iconic. But I think what they did with the Wii is they had like a story mode in it, and you could go through and play that on your own. Because if you're just doing the brawl aspect of it, you need people to play with you. Again, playing with computers like Mario Party would be very frustrating. But this one actually had like a story where you're going through levels and defeating people. I thought was really cool and a lot of fun. Unlocking all the characters, that was way more than in the N64 one. I'm not good at it. I know my buddy Dr. Mantis is a phenomenal player. I remember I owned the game, and I played like just a story mode because I didn't have a lot of people to play with me. And I know like he used to play that religiously in college, and I think we came home for like winter break once. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna beat him at this game. I own the game. He just wiped the floor with me. It wasn't even close. I had like, it was so frustrating. I was like, all right, we're not playing this game anymore. I'm over it. Whatever. He just absolutely wiped the floor. I am not that good at that game, but the story mode in it, I was really good at, and that was a lot of fun to play. So number 2 for me was Smash Brothers Brawl.
That's interesting. Like, I never play. The only one I played a lot of was the original on N64. I would go down to our neighbor's house because they had it on N64, and I liked that a lot. I always would pick Mario because I liked his. He had some move like you could punch someone and coins would shoot out of him. I always thought that was cool. So I would always play that a ton. I picked up the one for Switch, had it for a few months. I just couldn't get into it. I don't know why. I sucked at it. Maybe that's why. So I traded it in, got most of my money back for it. But yeah, those early ones were really enjoyable. And it's so cool. Like, if you would have told me as a kid, like, oh, all these cool video game characters that you love are all in this game and you can fight against each other. Like, that would have been such a dream as a child. So, yeah, I think that's an awesome pick. Who was your main character? Who would you pick all the time?
Man, I can't remember. I actually don't even remember the character's name, but it wasn't like Mario or one of the. It was a sword fight. He had like a sword, and I forgot who it was. Yeah, for Smash Brothers Brawl, I can't remember it. I picked him, and I think I beat the story mode with him. But yeah, it wasn't like a Mario character or anything like that. So
nice.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Unfortunately, I can't remember it. Been too long since I played that game.
No worries. All good. All right, we're down to my final number 1, right?
Yep. What is your number 1, Justin?
This was really tough, but this is a classic. Another instance of my sister getting a video game console. When did she buy this? This would have been like 98. She wanted her own console because she didn't want to play PlayStation with me. So my parents got her a Super Nintendo. So by 1998, Super Nintendos were probably like $50 because I mean that's way past when it came out. But as somebody who didn't grow up with one, it was pretty cool. And I remember we only had like 3 or 4 games for it because I was playing PlayStation all the time. And my parents bought my sister Super Mario World on Super Nintendo, which is just like the iconic classic Mario game. And I remember
that the first one?
That was the first one on Super Nintendo, not regular Nintendo.
Okay.
So this is the first one that had like Yoshi in it, where you could hop on his back and ride.
Oh, yep.
It had the ghost houses or the haunted houses that you would go in, and if you turn your back, the ghost would follow you and stuff like that.
Yep.
But I remember, like, my sister and I, like I said, we didn't play a lot of video games together. That was more my thing. That wasn't really her thing. But I remember one winter break or Christmas break when we got it, like, we went through every day and we played a few levels and we literally beat the game together. And I think that is the only time we've ever done that. And it was so much fun.
Wow.
Now, I guarantee you, if I ask her this, like, if I text her tomorrow and say, hey, do you remember when we did this? She will not remember this at all. So I don't know if this is just a memory I have because I'm the video game, sibling.
Yep.
But that game's still, like, you can pop in that game. It's on Nintendo Switch on, like, the old consoles or whatever that you can play on there. And it feels so good. It feels like the classic games from the original Nintendo, which I grew up playing. But this one's got Yoshi. Yoshi is cool. And it's just so much fun. There's such variety of levels and stuff. So my number 1, that's probably a cheap out answer. But Super Mario World, you couldn't ask for a better Mario game. It still holds up for sure.
Nice. Yeah, that's a good one. Do you ever play Super Mario Brothers 2?
Yes. I recently went back and beat that. I had that for Nintendo, yeah.
Okay, where you could be like Peach and she would like float around.
Yep. Totally different than all the other.
I remember that one.
Totally different than all. That was one of my honorable mentions. Did you know, Vinny, fun fact, that game was originally released in Japan. It was not a Mario Brothers game or a Mario game. It was some random game. It was called It was called Doki Doki Panic. I don't know what that means in Japanese, but it was called Doki Doki Panic. Had 4 characters that all could do the same things that the Mario ones could. But when Mario 1 released for Nintendo and it was such a hit, Mario 2 was originally the same game as Mario 1, but with more harder levels and like literally impossible levels that they thought Americans wouldn't be able to handle, which is true.
Yeah.
So they literally took this other game that was much easier, took out all the other characters, put in Mario and Peach and Toad and Luigi, and put in those guys, and made it a Mario game, and that's how it became Mario 2.
Nice. Interesting.
Yeah,
I did not know that.
You did not. There you go. Happy to oblige.
That's good. Nice. Thank you.
You're
my
welcome.
number one. My number one will be no surprise to you, but is Mario Kart Double Dash.
Oh, yes.
I think it's probably the best game for Mario Kart, although I haven't played 8 Deluxe that much. But yeah, Double Dash was amazing. Having 2 characters on there, you could play as a team. I always thought that was fun. We used to do that a lot in high school. We would have 4 guys. We'd all team up, and again, your characters meant something. If you would get you would double Koopas, you'd get a lot of shells to throw at people. You'd pick Donkey and Diddy Kong. You get a lot of bananas. They would have special. They would also have specials too that those characters would get. Like Donkey Kong's special was a giant banana that if someone ran into it, made him spin out, but also broke the banana up into like 5 smaller bananas as well to stay on the track for people to slip on. It was a great game. It would have been awesome if they would reboot that game and then also have more tracks. But it was a lot of fun to play with people. But you can also play again. You can play that on your own and have fun as well. But yeah, that one, a lot of time spent in high school on the weekends playing Double Dash, and that game never got old, especially if you had 4 people with you. If someone would want to quit and play something else, but usually it was always the losing team. But yeah, it was a lot of fun, and a lot of time could be spent playing that. So yeah, that's my number one.
See, that's my least favorite Mario Kart because I have too many bad memories of you guys just
because you get
ass.
Owned. Yeah,
owned is putting it mildly. That's the PC. That's the PC version of what you guys do to me. All right, you got any honorable mentions?
I just had the one that was Mario Party.
Okay.
I don't remember which one I played in college a lot, but yeah, Mario Party's on my honorable mention.
I had Mario Kart 64, Mario 2, the original Super Mario Bros. For Nintendo, like the original. I still go back and play that. Mario Golf, but on the Game Boy Color. That was the one of the Game Boy games I had. And then the last 2 were for the Switch. The first one is Mario Maker 2, which I don't know if you've ever heard of that, but it's got 60 levels, regular Mario levels. It's 2D, side-scrolling. But then it's also got this huge, robust online creator where you can literally make as many different Mario levels as you want. You can mix and match from the different games. You can add things. You can change things. It's really cool. You can make it as really hard or as difficult or as easy as you want. So when Maddie gets a little bit older, I'm looking forward to if she likes video games, making some levels for her to try and play so she gets into it. And then lastly,
nice.
Mario Odyssey is the Switch Mario game that's kind of like Mario 64, but it's way better. They actually have a world that you go to that looks like Mario 64, where it's all polygonal and jaggy and stuff like that.
That's cool.
Pretty cool. That was really neat. So that's a great game. I had almost in my top 5 because that's a really good game. And that's all all I got.
Did you ever used to have like a T85, T83 calculator?
Yes, I did.
Where you would
I did.
Did you have the Mario game on your calculator as well?
Vinny, this might surprise you, but our school said you weren't supposed to have games on your calculator, so I didn't have games on my calculator. Are you surprised? Yeah, they said no games on calculator. So at one point, I remember one of my friends in study hall, we sat in the back, he plugged in his cord to transfer games to me, and I was like, oh man, this is wrong. This isn't good. I shouldn't be doing this. I'm going to get in trouble.
Oh my God.
You're talking to like Mr. 4.0 GPA. I was worried. And so he did transfer one game. I had Fall Down, where it was literally like just a brick and like the screen was moving and you had to try and find the openings to get through. It was a really crappy game. But I remember everybody had was it Drug Wars, where you had to like trade drugs and stuff? Everyone had
Oh, I
that in
remember
school.
that one. Yep.
Yeah, but I did not have Mario. Was Mario a calculator game too?
Yes, there was like a version. I want to say there was a version of it because you could, again, like you could build your own levels too on that. So a lot of people would build their own levels and, you know, trade them and everything like that to other people. And yeah, I remember that being on there. I remember Galaga being one of the bigger games to play as well on there. But yeah, I thought about that just, you know, when you were talking about the Mario game being able to build that build levels. So yeah, I had to mention that to see if you had it, but it does not surprise me that you were afraid to have the games on your calculator.
Afraid is a strong word. There was concern.
Justin, you were afraid. Let's be honest, because you were worried about getting caught.
Let's
right?
also this is also way before I was diagnosed with anxiety. So clearly, if I had medication back then, throw all the games, put whatever the hell you want on my calculator. I don't care. So
there you go.
All right, should we burn through these write-ins and then we can get to bed?
Yep.
All right, sounds good. You yawn. All right. Alex wrote in. He said Mario and the Seven Stars on Super Nintendo. That is really cool. I've seen him play that. He was the one I would go to their house. Him and his brothers who wrote in next. That was an RPG, kind of like Final Fantasy, but for Mario. He also said Super Mario World. That was my number one. Paper Mario on the GameCube is I've heard really good things. Smash Brothers and a throwback to Mario's Gaming Gallery, which he also went to the same grade school I did, so we got our fill of Mario's Gaming Gallery.
Nice. Derek writes in Super Mario RPG Legend of the Seven Stars.
Yeah,
I've never heard of that one.
No? It's kind of like Final Fantasy, but with Mario characters. All right, and then to round off the last brother of these three, Jared writes in Paper Mario, The Thousand-Year Door, Paper Mario, Luigi's Mansion. I forgot that Mario shows up in Luigi's Mansion. Super Smash Brothers, and Mario RPG, Legend of the Seven Stars. You can tell they're all brothers. They played that game a ton. I remember watching them play that occasionally.
Nice. Isn't Luigi dead in that game? Luigi's Mansion?
I don't think so. I've never played 1 and 2. I have Luigi Mansion 3 for Switch. He's alive in that one.
I thought there was a Easter egg where he walks into a room and it looks there's like a silhouette of like a character that's like hanging there. Like
God, that sounds awful.
No, you didn't hear. You never heard that?
No.
I'll have to look that.
Right, I'm gonna look that one up.
But I'm almost
egg.
positive it's the first one that's in there. He walks in the room and there's like a silhouette of someone, and it looks like his character.
That's grim.
Yeah. So moving on from that morbid discussion, Greg writes in Donkey Kong for Atari, Super Mario 3. Super Mario RPG, I'm guessing, is that the Legend of the Seven Stars?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Super Smash Brothers and Mario Kart 64. I couldn't decide between these two. Super Mario Wii, Super Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle. Is that the game that you were talking about?
That's the one I was talking about. That's a good one. It's fun. All right, Jake writes in Mario 64, Paper Mario, Mario Party, Super Smash Brothers, and Mario Kart. Pretty self-explanatory there.
Nice. Is this... I'm going to butcher this name. Thanks for leaving me this one.
I think it's Kruka.
Kruka writes in. Thanks for writing in, Kruka. Super Mario... Is it
Sunshine,
Super Mario
yes. It's the
Sunshine? Okay, Super Mario Sunshine and Mario Maker. Both games I guess Mario Maker you mentioned.
Yes. All right, Dean writes in Super Smash Brothers Ultimate. That's the Switch version. Mario Kart 8, Super Mario Odyssey, Super Mario Galaxy 2. Oh, Super Mario Galaxy is really good too. And
I heard
Super
that was
Mario
good.
Land 2. I have not Super Mario Land 2. I think. Is Super Mario Land 2? That might be Yoshi's Island. I don't know. Doesn't matter. I'm talking out loud here. All right. What do we got next?
Manuel writes in number 5, Mario and Luigi, Bowser's Inside Story. Number 4, Super Mario Land 2, 6 Golden Coins. Number 3, Super Mario 3D World, Bowser's Fury. Number 2, Super Mario Odyssey. Number 1, Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga. I don't remember what that is. I don't think I heard of any of those games.
No, I know. Well, Super Mario Odyssey is the Switch one. Super Mario Land 2, 6 Golden Coins is on the GameCube. I think we had that for our GameCube. That was pretty cool. Nick writes in Mario, Super Mario World, Smash Brothers Melee, Mario 3, Mario 64, and Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Good choice.
Nice. Trent writes in Super Mario Brothers 3, number 1. Number 2, Super Mario Galaxy. Number 3, Super Mario Odyssey. Number 4, Mario and Luigi, Bowser's Inside Story. Number 5, Super Mario World.
Good choices. All right, and last but not least, Sam writes in Paper Mario, The Thousand Year Door, Super Mario Galaxy 2, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, Mario Kart 8, and Mario Party 2. Good choice, Sam. All right.
Nice.
We've made it. We're done.
Oof.
We would have been done like 5 minutes earlier if I wouldn't have messed up all our audio to start off. But hey, we've
probably. That's
probably.
okay.
Thank you, Vinny. I appreciate it. All right. Well, thank you to all of you that are listening. Remember, you can find us in a variety of ways. If you're on our YouTube channel, like, share, and subscribe our videos. We'd greatly appreciate it. YouTube.com/baseball and whatever. You can tweet us at baseball and what if you'd like to follow us. You can find us on Instagram at baseball and whatever. TikTok at baseball and whatever if you're one of the cool kids. You can email the show, baseballandwhatever@gmail.com. Find us on all your podcast apps of choice. If you're on Apple, leave us a 5-star review. And if you're on Spotify, leave us a positive review. We would greatly appreciate it. I think we're up to 24 reviews now. We have like a 4.8 or 4.9 rating. So please give us a rating. And lastly, if you don't want to do any of that stuff, okay, but maybe if you know someone who likes Chicago sports or likes pop culture or video games or movies or TV or Star Wars, tell them about us and tell them to check us out. We'd appreciate it. All right, Vinny, you got anything else?
No, I don't.
All right, well, on that note, we will see you all next week with more baseball and whatever. Take care, everybody. We'll see you next week.
See you.